Welcome back to Chefs in the City. I'm Ann Fisher, and joining me today, my two co-hosts, of course, Rich Terapak and Steve Stover. They are both lawyers who, in their spare time, have built 40-year side careers as cooking teachers. They've traveled the world and lived to write and share what they've learned about international cuisines, including some of the finest restaurants in the world. I'm just the journalist on board here, but on Chefs in the City, we like to talk about food and the people, from old favorites to new Americans, who make what we love to eat in Central Ohio and far beyond. So I met Rich and Steve when I was host of All Sides with Ann Fisher on WOSU Public Media for 14 years. They were longtime contributors to the station, and with their commentary and their restaurant reviews and some recipes. And once a month we gathered so they could share their insights with the All Sides audience. We introduced new chefs. That was one of my favorite things. Yep. Old chefs. We discussed the food, the ambiance, the changes, lots of changes. We forged ahead through the pandemic as well, tough times, talking about how the restaurant industry was coping and changing, and really how it became such an integral part of the pandemic experience and what survived and what did not. So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to talk about 2024, what a difference a year can make with a vibrant food mecca such as Columbus, right, Steve? I mean, Steve, even in 2023, in the shadow of the pandemic still, very much, Columbus Business First reported that as many as 200 restaurants and bars opened in Central Ohio, which is incredible. And there were just 56 closures. Of course, there were more probably the year before and the year before that. But what stands out to you?
I think what stands out is the versatility and the stick-to-itiveness of Columbus restaurants. So, but I think we had in order to understand what happened in 24, I think you have to go back and look at 23, because it was a real big year, one of the biggest years in memory. Even.
Again, because of the rebirth after COVID, there were a lot of restaurateurs who maybe didn't close down, but pretty much closed down. And others who wanted to start a restaurant but couldn't. Yeah. So 23 comes around, they can get financing, they can start the restaurant of their dreams.
Yeah, there are at least 10 seminal restaurants that opened in 23. Started a little before 23 with Fire, the wood-fired cuisine restaurant. FYR, in the Hilton Hotel downtown, featuring wood-fired cuisine and internationally known chef Sebastian LaRocca. Also, they had, and we went together with Jim Boudros and got to see the Wall of Fire.
First time I ever had beef tongue.
And just the Wall of Fire and just roasted tomatoes, fire roasted tomatoes. Very, very creative. And also, in part of the Hilton is Stories on High, a 28th floor rooftop bar with panoramic views of the city, which is another important thing in Columbus. We went from 0 to 4 dozen rooftop restaurants and bars in a matter of 4 or 5 years.
4 or 5 years, yeah. And Sebastiano has done a great job as well. He's from Argentina. He had restaurants in Costa Rica. How the Hilton got him here, I don't know, but he's very creative.
Well, they gave him a lot of free reign. They let him make it his restaurant, so to speak.
And we had him on the show.
Yep.
He loves to talk food.
And we will have him again because he's a hoot. And he calls us influencers, which makes me feel. But
we're too old to be.
But he has also very importantly spawned collaboration among Columbus restaurant chefs. Yep. He had a dinner called 10 Hands, and he had himself, and people were going to talk about Avishar Barua, B.J. Lieberman, the chef at Lindy's, and Ray the barbecue guy.
Yeah,
what a mix and collaboration. And it was just a really fun dinner. But another top restaurant opening in 2023 is Agni from Chef Avishar Barua.
Wait, he opened in 2023?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah. We were there the first week.
We were there the first week.
Yeah, of course you were.
And Agni is fire.
In Hindu.
And
he's another wood fire.
Yeah. Again,
wood fire.
There's a theme going on.
There's a theme.
There's something happening.
There's a couple of themes. Also, James Beard nominee. Uber creative, edgy, Italian influenced wood fired tasting menu in the brewery district.
Where's this?
It's on South High Street.
South High Street.
What are we talking about? Agni
Agni.
still?
Agni.
Oh, okay.
It's across from the Grange. There's a park south of Grange.
Yeah.
And it's right across the street
Tucked
from that.
right in
It's
there.
where
Ambrose and
absolutely
Eve.
gorgeous.
Ambrose and Eve was in that spot.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's just south of where the Claremont used to be for people of our demographic.
Olden times.
There's a
yes.
good restaurant at the Claremont.
But so that was another one. Horaeus, another James Beard nominee. B.J. Lieberman opened a really, really good restaurant called Horaeus, which means comforts of home in Welsh. And again, wood-fired cuisine. That's 3 in a row.
Yeah.
But it was short-lived. But he's using it now as an event
It's
space.
a beautiful spot.
So,
for
Horaeus, what didn't take with that?
Personally, I think he named it the wrong thing.
Hard to.
What was the name
How
of
do you
that
look at
restaurant?
what's the first letter in the? Yeah.
Yeah. How do you spell that?
Huh.
And location. It was in a garage in an alley off
that's
of
right.
High Street.
But a brand new build.
But he's a brilliant chef. He also owns a jazz lounge called Ginger,
Ginger
Rabbit.
Rabbit.
Ginger Rabbit.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun.
Yes.
So
Back to Avishar for a minute in
Yeah.
his restaurant. He hired all of his assistant or helper coach chefs are different cuisines.
yes,
So there's just a plethora.
He's
of
not
different-
afraid.
No.
same with BJ has guys that he gives them the reign in the kitchen.
Yeah.
If you've looked at the menu, it's very eclectic,
Yeah. And it changes.
and it's because they're. I think that Rich's point, they're giving their sous chefs and staff free reign to bloom.
Yeah.
To bloom with their passions. Also, Avishar, let's not forget Joya's in Worthington, one
Terrific
of my
place.
go-tos place. You've been now?
Yeah, a couple times.
Oh my goodness. It's easy. It's accessible. They have booze now.
Oh, they do.
Yeah, they
it's
do.
a breakfast and lunch place.
I know. I think and then they do private dinners there as
Yes.
well, which is another thing.
Yeah. Private
a
dinners.
lot of pop-up dinners in
Yeah.
secret places in town.
Well, as you were saying,
It's only money,
Sebastiano,
but yeah.
Sebastiano has done several of these now.
Yeah.
It's a fixed menu. He has all these helpers.
He brings in 7 chefs from all over the world, including James Beard Award winners.
Yeah.
Those
To
are
cook in Columbus. Yes.
Yes.
We want that. Finishing up on 2023 before we get to 2024, Spec Modern Italian Restaurant from Josh Dalton, the owner of Veritas at the corner of Gay and High.
If you make it there and you want to have a cocktail beforehand, where do you go? Upstairs.
above
Oh, my
Veritas,
gosh.
Citizens
Beautiful
Trust,
place.
perhaps the most beautiful bar in the Midwest.
Absolutely gorgeous.
It's in an old bank lobby with tall ceilings and soft furniture.
And incredible banquettes
Yeah.
around big round tables. I love it.
Yeah. Yep.
So give that another try. And then Cento, Cameron Mitchell's 100th restaurant.
And this is the
Upscale
second. This
Italian.
is the second 100th for Cameron. He actually developed and sold 92 restaurants.
Oh, that's right.
About 5 years ago, and now has built up another 100 restaurants.
Really?
Yeah. So
It was in the old G. Michael's location
he's
in
in
German
New York.
Village.
He's in Los Angeles. He's in Naples, Florida.
Absolutely. Well, I knew he's all over the place, but
Valentina's noted another Italian restaurant up in another Cameron Mitchell Italian restaurant up in Bridge Park.
Which is an incredible development, and they're soon to have a hotel and
And a restaurant developed by Cameron Mitchell.
and of course his catering is all over the place
Yeah.
as well.
And then
and that's
finally,
also a Jeff Edwards.
and then Suburban Southern Kitchen in Linworth, Southern Comfort Food and Bourbon. It's spelled Suburban
Suburban,
Kitchen.
yeah.
But anyway, so those are 7 new restaurants in 2023, one of the best years in memory. And note that 5 of them are chef owned. When we get to 2024,
Things change.
let's think about that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, special mention. Should we talk about Littleton's Market?
Yeah, we can talk about Littleton's Market every single episode. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
It's by the way, it's not just a market. It's a restaurant.
It's a restaurant. Great, the best smash burger in town.
And also a cafe out on a big patio that seats maybe 100 people.
For those of you who are familiar with Italy in
That's right,
New
in
York,
New York.
in Manhattan, it is that kind of establishment. very high-end product from all over the world. Prepared meals, you can do a takeout. And as you said, the restaurant, a great wine selection.
Probably the best looking meat case in the city.
Yeah.
All prime meats. And they do have
Seafood
local lamb and veal, which is, again, hard to find.
And they have a cheese sommelier.
And the famous
Isn't
butcher.
it a cheesemonger?
No,
but they call him.
He's a cheese sommelier.
Okay.
She.
I stand corrected.
And then James Williams, the butcher, who's been there in the same location for 34 years. And they even hired Chris Dillman, a notable sommelier who had been at the
Wine
refectory.
sommelier.
That's right.
And he does the wine at Littleton's Market. So it's in Tremont Shopping Center in Upper Arlington.
Who's the chef there at Littleton's?
It's changed, and I don't know the name of the
All
new
right.
one. The original opening chef was from New York, and she left. But the food is just as good. And they even do dinner. They used to only do breakfast and
Okay,
lunch.
good to know.
And they have high tops and low tops. And
You can sit at the bar.
The whole thing, yeah.
so, should we talk about 2024?
Why not?
Bring on 2024.
Well, who knew that the person of the year on the Columbus culinary scene for 2024 was not a chef, not a restaurant owner, but a developer.
Like a developer as in builds buildings.
As in builds buildings.
And neighborhoods.
Jeff Edwards, who I recently met, of the Edwards Company, is the leader in the revitalization of downtown. Not only the corner of Gay and High and that whole block but also all he's developing over at 4th and Broad. The PNC Center has now become the Preston Center. And it has, a lot of these buildings have Jeff Edwards restaurants. For example.
And even Jeff was part of the Crew building, wasn't he? The building of the new stadium.
His brother.
Oh, his brother was.
Yeah.
And there are restaurants there.
The surgeon.
Yeah.
But his buildings are homes of 3 of Columbus's top new restaurants from 2024, and they are pretty good. I'll let you guys talk about it, but Hank's with Charleston cuisine at the corner of Gay and High.
Right.
A lot of seafood.
Low country.
Mm-hmm.
And the important thing about this neighborhood of restaurants is, one, as Steve said, the synergy, the kind of critical mass. But for folks who don't like to leave their zip code because they don't know where to park,
Yeah.
there is valet parking shared by all of those hotels.
But you never use valet parking.
No,
I do.
I'm too cheap, is what she
He's
said.
too cheap.
Everyone knows.
It's like he'll call us. I'm on my way. I'm leaving my car now.
He'll drop Roberta occasionally and then drive around for an hour
Or she'll drop me.
to find a meter.
But anyway, it's
I think that's
easy to
important.
get there and feel safe in going downtown in the evening.
As we'll talk about, there are 5 or 6 restaurants at Gay and High. It's just a splendid area. But there's a one valet thing, and it covers all the restaurants. Veritas, which we've already, the number one
Oh, okay.
restaurant,
One valet
and
for
Spec, which we
one
talked
valet
about.
to serve them all.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
So at least 4 restaurants now and more.
There are
So
multiple people
Hank's
parking.
from South Carolina is at the corner of Gay and High. Right across the street, another top restaurant of 2024, Chouette.
Yeah.
It's the French word for owl.
CHOUETTE.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's
Chouette.
at the corner of Gay and High, the northeast corner, and it's a French bistro.
It's the old coffee place.
Yeah.
It used to be the Dispatch years ago. It was a coffee place before that.
It wasn't Brassica. It was,
We'll think of
Long
it.
time. Yeah, we'll think of it.
But it's beautiful. It's on several levels. Very Frenchy. And we have
But bistro food, not,
Yeah.
you're not going to get.
the sauces.
Yeah. You'll get the sauces and things, but you'll get steak frite. You'll get escargot.
tartatin.
Tarte tatin. You'll get
okay.
Real French bistro food. We don't have any other restaurants in Columbus that do French bistro food.
And it's not inexpensive, but it's more reasonable than
I think it
full
was a
dinner.
good value.
Yeah.
I was very happy with my dinner. So that's
Make
2.
reservations early. It's really packed.
Yeah, and then the third downtown Columbus restaurant in a Jeff Edwards building is Butcher and Rose, a Cameron Mitchell's new steak concept at the corner of Broad and 4th in what is now known as the Preston Center, right across from the Athletic Club. and it is a high-end steakhouse. Gorgeous, gorgeous bar. They've got a little ante room that we sat in.
I love that. That's my. I mean, the back rooms are posh as all get out, but that ante room you call. I mean, the front bar area.
CNBC.
Yeah,
No kidding.
it's all,
People in glass houses.
Yeah, that's right. It is a glass house. Again, very attractive. They have rooms upstairs for private parties, and if it gets too crowded downstairs, they'll let you go upstairs and have it more quiet.
We went upstairs.
Yeah.
So that's another top restaurant of 2024. And by the way, Josh Dalton, the owner of Veritas and Spec, is opening a Mexican restaurant in 2025, which we'll talk about later, called Rosalita's.
It'll be in that same neighborhood.
On that.
So again, it's that critical mass.
Right.
Some people, I remember one time a former restaurant owner in Worthington was worried about all the restaurants opening up in Worthington, and I'm like, stop the insanity. Are you crazy?
Yeah.
I mean, when you go down to Worthington and you want to just walk in, or any neighborhood, pick your and they're full. You got to wait 45 minutes. Well, then you can walk down the street and see if there's something else.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't have to leave.
Well, you've got
to find
that.
food.
You've got that kind of thing in Worthington.
Yep.
You've got it in Old Dublin.
Yep.
And Grandview.
You've got it in
Upper Arlington, Grandview.
well, maybe Lane Avenue, but Grandview certainly has that kind of a walking. Grandview Avenue.
And you only have to park the car
You
once.
can, yeah, if you can find a place. But Rich will drive around for an hour. But the point being, the Gay and High now has become a culinary center for Columbus. Veritas, top restaurant, the Citizens Trust Bar, a wine store called Accent, Spec Italian Eatery, Hank's, Chouette, not to mention the lively restaurant and bar scene on Gay.
Farther down the track.
On the east side of High Street.
And valet parking. What's not to like?
Yeah,
I love
valet
this.
parking.
And maybe we'll have Jeff on.
The new place is going to be called Rosalita.
Rosalita's.
And it's in that same neighborhood. It'll be a little further north from the Chouette in what used to be.
It's going to have outdoor dining.
Yeah, it used to be the old Madison department store.
That's what I want.
That's
to do.
right.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, okay, now I know what you're talking about. Let's get some landmarks in there. And the pattern has been primarily non-chef owned this now in 2024.
Yes. Yeah.
Right. 0 of the top 5, we're not there yet, but 0 of the top 5 new restaurants in 2024 are chef owned. They're corporate or company owned. And note that
They all got it out of their system.
you'll see that
23.
4 of the 5 are steakhouses too. That's another
Which is
little-
super strange. I'm surprised.
Well, you know,
But it's
there's an emphasis on protein, and it's not just the Arnold. But quite frankly, as we all age, an important thing to do is eat more protein,
Right.
so you maintain your
and clean.
and
Good clean.
yeah.
This is all foreign to me.
We got Carbo Man.
He
sitting
can't
here.
hear.
Give me a big bowl of pasta anytime. Okay, other new restaurant for 2024. And maybe you guys can talk a little. Del Mar Mediterranean at Easton. On the Circle.
That was one of those.
It was a Brio, I
Did we
believe.
go to?
We did that.
That's
Yeah.
we've been there. Okay.
We went for happy hour or something.
Yeah. Nice happy hour.
Sat in the corner, and there's a Victoria's Secret. Right across
Another
there.
beautiful. If you live in a glass house at this
Yeah.
moment, yeah.
It's not the Del Mar that was downtown on North High Street. That's changed.
Okay.
It's Del Mar Mediterranean, which he has one in Naples, Florida, that's very hot. It's more Mediterranean food.
And the one on North High
Again,
Street is
another
out.
dietary thrust. I mean,
But it's a new
good
concept
eating.
for him,
Yeah.
for Cameron Mitchell. But the Del Mar SoCal, Del Mar, Southern California, thinking the cuisine of San Diego area, has changed. It's now SoCal Kitchen and Bar, and that's the one in the short north on High Street.
So it's no longer the Del Mar.
Right.
Okay.
Careful. So another one from 2024 is a Capitol Grill. Steakhouse.
A chain.
Champs.
A chain.
A chain,
Oh,
national
that's
chain.
right.
Yeah.
It's down by the
on
Lennox
Lennox.
Lennox
It's on the
Center.
Center,
Yeah.
yeah.
The old Champs spot. It's still near. No, it's Bravo. Is Bravo there still or
Bravo
Brio?
was there.
Bravo's there. Yeah.
It's still there.
And So it is
It's in the old Champs building, though.
Yeah.
we have not been, but people who have been said, it's just classic steak and well done. Not well
Not
done.
well done steak.
But it's really
Perish the thought.
That's your mother's steak.
Yeah, that would be my money. So there you go. Those are our top 5. But there's a lot more food from 2024.
There's a lot more food.
We got Jeans up in Dublin.
Oh, that's right.
And I haven't been yet, but it opened in downtown Dublin, adjacent to its older sibling, the Coast Winehouse. So it's on the main drag in old Dublin. And I looked at the menu; it looks great, and it's a nice addition to Old Dublin, with Tucci's.
Then we come up with a couple of Bethel Road spots.
Yes,
and I see you may have been there. I haven't.
I have been both. Yeah.
Fiery Sky and Coco Cuisine.
Well, I don't know if
Coco
any of you remember
Hot Pot, right?
Gia, yeah, which was in a little strip mall in Kenny, Western Chinese cuisine.
Okay.
Think Hunan, but think spicy.
Uyghurs.
But also think, that's exactly right.
That's Uyghurs.
The owner of that sold it, and opened this Fiery Sky, which is spicy Hunan, Sichuan cuisine, hot pot.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you'll see another trend, wood-fired hot pots.
Yeah.
Because right down the street, Coco Cuisine, there's another place.
Explain hot pot. What's
it's
the cuisine?
a boiling pot of oil, and you cook
your own.
your protein or
Right.
you could cook vegetables in it. And then also this Coco Cuisine has dim sum. I love dim sum.
Yeah.
And dim sum is
Not a lot of protein.
not just for Saturday afternoon. Oh, yes, there's
There's
You
a little
can.
bit
It
in the
can
middle.
insert some in the middle, right?
just because I like dumplings. I've
It does- I
fried
do too.
dumplings,
It's very
fried
good.
dumplings
Yeah.
and other dumplings, but it's really good, and it brings to mind the fact that Bethel Road. Here, these are both
Yeah.
on Bethel Road. This corridor,
It's amazing.
Another critical
we've
mass
talked
issue.
about it. We've written about it. Aaron Edwards has written about it.
From the Columbus Monthly.
From Olentangy River Road to Sawmill.
40. I think.
It's the home to at least 24 restaurants and shops that specialize in Asian dishes, desserts, coffee, and groceries, and a total of more than 40 ethnic restaurants, groceries, and all that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And right in the middle of it is our beloved refectory.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On Beth? Wait, no.
Yeah. And the Stone Bar and Grill, which
Stone
is
Bar and
another
Grill
place.
right across the street.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, so we have a very
Yeah,
high
the
end.
Stone Bar and Grill. Someone was talking to me about that on Monday.
It's
A great happy hour there.
Great happy hour.
Yeah.
Really good stuff.
Okay,
On
I got to
Monday
check
night.
it out.
Bottles of wine
Yeah.
at state minimum retail.
Yeah.
Send me in, Coach.
Yes.
Steve's there every evening.
Now,
You're so giving because I just want to
I'm always
thank you for
thinking
that.
of others.
Yeah.
But thinking of sharing, the Little Grand Market opened in Grandview. It's a new food hall.
Okay. Oh,
One of
that's right.
Food halls are another
7 or 8.
Food
phenomenon.
halls. I mean,
Another
they're just how
phenomenon.
many are there now?
There's 7 or 8.
There was
Wait a minute, it says here 7.
Bud Dairy was
Bud
Seven
Dairy was kind of the first one
7
besides the
opened
malls.
in 24.
Yeah.
And another one coming in 25. But Little Grand Market may have some of the best stalls. They have Pablo's Havana Cuisine, which is it's a Cuban restaurant, just really good sandwiches and stuff like that. And the people, Lac Viet, the people that have the Vietnamese stand in the North Market,
In the
Yeah.
North Market.
have 2 stalls. One is their traditional Vietnamese food, and the other is pho.
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 Soup.
Pho.
And
Again, this is an example of having a lot of opportunities within a relatively small space.
Hey, speaking of dumplings, what happened to Momogar?
they're still at the North Market,
Okay.
but they opened a restaurant on Sawmill, which is not a success. Remember, we had Punta on our show.
Oh my goodness, yes.
And
It's lovely.
Momo Gar.
Yeah.
If I
still at
even go
Sagara?
near there,
Oh,
it's in the North Market,
Okay.
yeah.
but not on Sawmill.
It's fabulous.
And then not.
It
in
started out
Sagara.
at Saraga's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
On-
you can even get them to go. You can get our son came home one day with a dozen momos and the sauce, and I tried to steal it. But
What do they
he
want?
caught
Like
me.
a bigger cut of the inheritance
I
or
don't
something? Are they
know.
working on you?
But no, he wasn't going to share.
You wasn't going to share?
It wasn't about me, as well it should have been. But it is. It's a really cool thing.
One real quick thing, because we got to wrap it up here, guys. But one of the things I've noticed and I like, and you know that one of my fantasies is, that I joke about it all the time, is to go to Tuscany and to walk down the street and go to a hole-in-the-wall restaurant where they tell you what you're having to eat.
Yeah.
I like smaller menus.
Yeah.
It happens to be restaurant week. It'll be over with by the time you hear this, but I love the restaurant week menus because they tell you here.
Here, this is what we're serving for
and
X
for this
number
amount of
dollars.
money, and you know what you're getting into. But anyways, the smaller menus are a thing now, right?
Oh, they are, and part of that is
It's
it's
more
because
efficient.
More efficient because of COVID. They
Food costs,
Yeah.
costs.
staff costs, all those things
Yeah.
have led to that as a trend.
Yeah,
So-
and
But
you're right.
how
It is a
about-
lot of fun, and that's one of the things you can get at Avishar's restaurant, like Agni. It has a fixed menu,
Yeah.
and it's the menu of the day. It's kind of what you get.
Is it kind of like you get 6 dish? You know,
5 courses, they say.
five courses?
But you always have at least 12 different. They'll bring a little taste of this and a little taste of that. And that's pretty common among the fixed price menus at Ohio, in Columbus, including Veritas
Yeah.
has one. And so other restaurants have them occasionally.
There's a fixed price menu at Polino's. Is one of my
That's right.
new favorite Italian restaurants.
Okay.
It's small.
Where's that at?
It's on King
Near
Neal.
Okay.
Next
Near
to
the
a-
university.
aquarium.
By El Curia?
It's near
Al
Korea,
Yeah. Okay.
and another the bottle shop, which has become a cool wine bar.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's owned by the guy Gregory Stokes that owns Accent Winery. He was a former GM and sommelier at Veritas. He's got great cocktails and great wines. I've had a wine I couldn't find anywhere else in Columbus.
So there's another little neighborhood for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Linworth, you mentioned
Yeah.
suburban.
Yeah.
That's where Aardvark wine is. There's, it's kind of getting really popping, and the original Camerons.
I wanted to mention a couple other things if we've got time.
if we've got about
1 minute.
1 minute.
Oh, well,
Next time?
Next time.
well, we could go on. Yeah, we could go.
We
on
knew
and-
we could go on forever with you, Steve, with
I've
your
got
list.
a lot more, and we
The
can
guys
talk,
in the studio
we
are
can talk
shaking
some
their
more
head.
about New Columbus restaurants, and then talk about what's coming up in 25.
Yes.
Yes, we have lots to do, lots more to talk
Too
about.
much to talk about.
Hope you'll
More
stay
shows.
with us. Thanks for joining us for another episode of Chefs in the City. I'm Ann Fisher, my co-host Steve Stover and Rich Terapak with us. If you like us, then like us on Facebook. Look for us on Threads, Blue Sky, and Instagram.
We appreciate
Email
any
us.
comments that you might have.
Any
And
comments
questions.
and questions. We like questions, prompts. Email us at chefsinthecity.111@gmail.com. Thanks again. See you next time.
Boxland Media. Think big.